Keep going, keep going. There we go. There we go. Much better.
The crown's a little bright, but...
Yeah, it's much better, though. I don't have that. I'm a little dark on the other side, but you know. All right, are we live?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And my audio's working. Here we are. And I don't know if you're the person that's in. I don't know who's in. There's two people, so that's more than just you.
I'm not in.
And you're not in. Okay. And if this is working, you can go into the text box and say, hey, we can hear you, we can see you, and all that. And that'll let me know that we're up and running. And well, as we go live, oh, it says viewers, and we had 2, and now we have 0.
Oh.
What happened to everybody? As soon as I said you can say something, everybody left. Somebody liked it, too. So there were 2 people, and now there's 1 person in. There were 2 people in, somebody liked it, and then they left. Now there's 1 person there again, and I'm waiting. Have to wait for it to build up here, as we are here. And today's the 25th?
24th.
24th. Well, it says the title of this is 617 Special Edition.
Oh.
That's pretty funny.
We forgot to change the title.
Yeah.
Me. What is it? 24th?
24th is what you just said.
That's awkward. Maybe that's why they left.
Time travel. You know what the cool thing is? Even though Trevor first had the date messed up and you thought you might be watching live last Friday, it's better than having the wrong audio with the video. So, and you know what? For everyone, thanks for starting to join us. But what was really funny last week with that was that when we had on Monday, when we had the wrong audio with the video, we still got like 400 or 500 views of people watching the video before we had to take it down and start over. So yeah, I wish those people would come back and see it. But and then some people even commented they enjoyed it, even though it had the issue with me not syncing up, which means, yeah, but you just listened. Didn't it bother you that it was the same thing I said the week before? Okay, hello everybody. Kind of seeing everybody's jumping in. And hello. Good afternoon. Hey, somebody said, hey, Trevor. Hey, don't talk to Trevor. Had the date wrong, and I should come over and jam with you. Okay? It's alive. It's still a good listen. Even if it's the same thing and it's the wrong audio with everything, it's still a good listen. Thanks, everybody, for joining us as we're building things up here, getting things in. Another Friday live, June 24th, 2022. Nice, mild, relaxing. I don't know, let's give the weather update. We had a little bit of dust up and some thunder and lightning early this morning when I got up about 4 o'clock. So we had that going on this morning. Just a trace of rain, nothing really, not anything to write home about or anything like that. Currently it's 105 degrees, which is the high. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. Even, Sunday, 103. Ooh, we're going to drop. Yeah, so we're not hitting the 110s yet, so always the little mercies in Arizona when we're kind of like not screaming through into the 110s and 115s. So we're kind of building up here and stuff, kind of running through. Still a good listen, highway. And let's hear some of the guitar. I'll have to do that sometime. Me just come in here and diddle with the guitar. Gonna have to have a different chair though, because I can't have arms on the chair and do that and all this. So we'll have to do that. Maybe we'll do that with one live. Come in here and I'll serenade. Love your show. Keep with some awesome stories. Crank up on one of those. I don't know if that would really work, even with the electric in here. With the microphone. It'd probably be overwhelming to it and all. So, wouldn't sound very good and all that. But it would be what it be. Could be what it be. We'll have to see. We'll try that sometime. We're doing live again this week. Hopefully by next week, Trevor, if everybody gets on Trevor, he'll get a few things together this weekend. The plan is to get back into the Friday specials. I'm also going to be, even though we're not completed with all the episodes, I'm going to try to get Trevor onto the schedule of saying the episodes we do have in this weekend, start finishing some out. Maybe we release one every 3 weeks. We do an episode, a live, and then a special presentation, then another episode, and start pushing those episodes out this summer. What do you think, Trevor?
I don't know.
We got to start cutting the pieces for them because we keep leading around that carrot for a long time. And we should be able to get some things done. What?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. I think it's a good plan. What's up? I'm listening and I'm invited. I'm invited attention. Undivided attention, I think you mean. Okay. And your Fender amp looks very similar to the one I have. I have 2 of those. I actually have two. There's 2 of those in the house. So the little Fender Champs, like Fender Champs, like in Joe's garage, you know, a little Fender Champ, and I think he says, isn't it a Fender Stratocaster with a whammy bar in the song, you know, back in Joe's garage. I'm not going to sing the song. I'm not going to play the song. Anyways, that is an idea to do that sometime live, is open it up. See, we need that. We need to have this set up so we have an intro and everything, and then I can play a music. I can do, Kelly Clarkson does Kelly Yoki, and I can do Wayne Yoki or Wayne. Sing along with Wayne. What do you think? Sing along with Wayne. You know, it is funny because there was a request. I can't remember who it was. You could go out and find it. I don't know. But this woman's husband, she had me record. Remember I did Happy Birthday for that guy? Yeah, and I did a happy birthday special. Happy birthday, played guitar and sang Happy Birthday for him. One time I've ever done it. I did it in this, just one time. I thought, oh, okay, that'd be kind of funny. And I sent it off, and she posted it on Facebook. That was a long time ago. Probably a year or two, a couple of years ago. So, okay. Fender amp. It would be raw. Any story on the Mogollon Rim Monster? I have the one I told. That was the only time I ever saw anything up there. There was a place we stayed up there. Cabin. We didn't really stay up there. We broke into a cabin up on the Mogollon Rim. I was young, and someday I'll have to tell that story because we stole a car first. I didn't steal the car. I rode in the stolen car, and we went and got pizza. And then later, after the stolen car incident, we broke into the cabin, but it was an empty cabin, and it had been locked. And we didn't really break in. I think we found an open window, and someone got in and got us in. And there were bats in there. So it was really crazy. It was supposed to be haunted, and it wasn't. That's an interesting story. But yeah, I was like 14, 15. I couldn't even drive, so I don't think I can be held responsible for the guys who stole the car. So they stole someone's keys, and then they lifted someone's car, and then we went and got pizza. I was quite young at the time. So there you go. Some of those interesting stories of my past. Yeah, how that works, huh? But just imagine this. It was a bunch of 14 and 15-year-olds with a car going to get pizza while staying up at the Mogollon Rim. So pizza's a big deal. You rib all of it. We won't even start. I mean, that was one of those ones, man. And it was funny because there was a friend that was, been with us, and he was supposed to go with us. And I forgot to wake him up. And he got mad the next day when he found out that we had all went into town, stole a car, went into town, got pizza, and I had to convince him not to say anything because he was really upset that he didn't get to go. But it was kind of like, if you say something or act really mad and ask you, and you mention what's wrong, we're all in big trouble. So, but anyways, yes, the stolen car was a 4-door, some big boat of something. I don't know. Never thought about it being in any shape or form kind of weird or anything. It just kind of went along with the whole thing. Remember getting back, and we got back safely. Someone had to know, right? Because it's not like when you're 14 or 15 you're that smart that nobody would have figured it out. Anyways, I'll have to tell that story sometime and all the particulars. I don't remember if I remember anybody's name that was in there on that thing. I know who we left behind. And I think he went on to do quite well in life, so maybe it was best for him that we didn't take him. So anyways, we got everything booted up and everything rolling here. We're back into another Friday edition, special edition of Legends of Superstition Mountains. I really do want to get the episodes rolling out of some of the stuff because there's stuff to talk about. And it would be nice to kind of be able to get some of those busted out and rolling, start clearing the shelf a bit so we can talk about some of the stuff and move some of those things forward. Because I'm always kind of itching to tell some of those stories. There's a couple other stories I want to tell. I'm waiting to see what other people do about them who were involved in those particular things. But, and I want to talk to Frank and make sure it's clear with a couple people, because it would involve them and stuff about kind of getting to the truth of things, and the particular instances. So sometimes there's stuff I want to talk about, and I want to make sure that everybody kind of understands, hey, I'm going to talk about this, and I'm talking about this from a point of view of all the information and material I have. Because there's people that put stuff out, and I would say they get it like 40-50% correct, and then they kind of make up a lot of stuff, and I always hate that because I start to read it myself, whether it's in social media or whether I watch it, and it starts to bother me because I'm sitting there going, that's not true, that's not what happened, and it kind of starts to irk you, like, no, we need to fix that. And some of the episodes involve some things that need fixing too. If it was the days and the people involved, and one of the things I spoke to, I was hoping that it would have been an article, and part of it, the episodes would have been an article in the Superstition Mountain Journal, but it is no longer to be. And I think part of that was because of people making completely fictitious stories up in there. At least one or two of those happened, and it was like, I think they just lost faith in the whole process, and that's a shame. When it's the historical society of the museum, you can't be making stuff up and just BSing. But some people thought it's fine to do that. Some of those people are kind of being shy anymore. They're not posting as much as they had been and stuff. They've gotten quiet and they know who they are, and that's good. And I know they're kind of aware that I'm aware, and that whole awareness, like I'm watching you, you watching me, and because it's kind of like, man, don't do that stuff, man. It's not fair to you, me, or anybody to put out false information on stuff like you didn't really know it, you weren't really here, and you didn't really know some of the people particular, and you're just kind of, you're not even saying up front of like, this is kind of what I heard. They get very authoritative, and I don't like that. So anyways, hopefully some of that stuff will come about fruition and stuff. As I sit here, and I should be paying attention to what's scrolling, or Trevor should be shouting. People are asking you questions. Finally able to catch a live. You rebel, like I was already there. Howdy Wayne from Missouri. You ever encountered a skinwalker? I'm terrified of them. How many have you met? Why would you be terrified of a skinwalker? You'd have to have met one. See, I'd rather sit down and talk to you about your possibility, why you're afraid of skinwalkers. What's your favorite toppings on pizza? Trevor? What's my favorite toppings on pizza? Pepperoni's one. Sausage is another. Mushrooms. I like mushrooms a lot. So, I dig them shrooms. Nobody, and black olives, but nobody likes mushrooms. Well, you like mushrooms. Yeah, Trevor likes mushrooms. So, yeah, nobody else likes mushrooms. I don't want to ever cross paths with one. Okay, so you haven't crossed paths and all. Okay, there's superstitions and stuff, and actual skinwalkers, shapeshifters. Shrooms rock. Yeah, I don't really have a skinwalker story or a shapeshifter story that I know of. I've been told some by people, and I believe they're just kind of, what would you refer to them as? Kind of folkloric tales that they've kind of put in more of a little bit of personal flair to make them interesting. But I don't know of anyone that I've ever... Well, no, I do know, because Leonard Dan did tell me some skinwalker stories in the truck and all that. And he was talking. Leonard Dan, really cool dude. Really nice guy. Like Leonard a lot. So if you see Leonard on anything, I always support Leonard. Leonard's a good dude, man, up there, Four Quarters, up on the Navajo reservation. But, we talked a lot of skinwalkers, shapeshifters, and Bigfoot. We talked a lot of cryptozoid stuff. So he was talking to me about that stuff. Toppings on pizza. Bacon. I'm not a big bacon on pizza guy. I love bacon though, man. You cook bacon, man. Now you're making me hungry. I don't ever cross paths with one. Shrooms rock. Seen any UFOs? I've seen things. A couple times I don't know what they were moving in the air because they made a extreme right angle move or something. Well, I was like, oh, that's weird. Can't be a satellite or something. But as far as UFOs, the last thing I saw that was really crazy was I was out in the pool and there were these things flying around with these orange lights. I think they had orange and green. And they were crossing. They were drones though, but there was multiple ones, and they kept flying in the air. It was night and dark, and I watched them, but I was pretty sure they were drones. I couldn't hear them because they were far enough away and elevated enough. Couldn't really hear the buzzing and stuff, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they were drones. But I live by Luke Air Force Base and other places and stuff. There's a lot of air traffic and stuff, so it's hard to say whatever might go on. I will talk about a little more of that here in a second. Hi Wayne, glad I made it. Heard any crazy stories from a coworker about them? About what? Last episode. Could it be metal buried under the ground? It could be metal someone left in the hole. I'm not sure about that. Let's see. Love Bigfoot. Okay, glad I made it. I have of someone who wanted to be a skinwalker. I have. It didn't end well for her. Why would you want to be a skinwalker? Bacon and onion. It's like kind of like, why would you want to, I guess, werewolf or something like that or anything like that. I don't know where I was, though. I was going to tell the story. Oh, the Phoenix Lights. Back in, I'm sure everybody's heard that thing about the Phoenix Lights. It was like the triangular shape, something that flew over, and they got some video, and they talked about it. The night before the Phoenix Lights, the big deal, I was out in Surprise, and just south of me, they had a huge hill of dirt. And I'm talking, it was probably 100, 150 feet tall. And I drove my Bronco up on it and was sitting up there and just watching the sky. Now, I lived there, Luke Air Force Base, and south of there is Goodyear, and Goodyear Airport, where they test stuff as well. And watched that whole evening all these lights that would go and make like vertical lines and go up and then make horizontal lines, and then each one would drop down and go out like teardrops, and then they'd reappear down below again, and they would form a V and then fly up and then fly over this way, and then they would fade out one by one. And they did all these strange maneuvers, and I knew it wasn't, I didn't think it would be helicopters. It certainly wasn't airplanes. And at the time, drones weren't really a big thing, but they remind you of something of like drone, like, I don't know, synchronized droneage. Anyways, it was down the direction of Luke and Goodyear, and I was watching that in the sky for hours. And of course, you wouldn't really be able to get good. This is back in the old days where a camcorder, everything was VHS. We didn't have cell phones. And I just sat there and watched it for hours. Thought it was really cool, whatever they were doing and testing. Now, it's very similar to a lot of what people said the Phoenix Lights were. My point is, whatever I saw was directly in the path and somewhere between Goodyear and Luke Air Force Base. And I would think that Luke would have scrambled jets, or there would have been something going on because of those testing facilities over that airspace, because it's restricted airspace. So that's all I know about it. And then I found it very puzzling and kind of ironic that the next night was the Phoenix Lights. I was like, okay, I saw stuff that was even crazier than that the night before down here. So I don't know. Who knows, whatever it was. I hate to always do that because people don't like that. Of like, you mean it maybe wasn't extraterrestrial? Yeah, maybe it wasn't. You know, things can be unknown or different or unusual and don't have to be from another planet. I think the metal is pieces from the water tank they were emptying. A lot of strange lights in the Baghdad area at night. Baghdad's a strange area to begin with. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere and stuff. I've been in Baghdad. I got a flat tire once out by Baghdad, out in the road out there. And I will tell you, that was a very lonely thing. It was in the evening, too. So it was a very strange time, especially when there's suddenly no traffic or nothing. You're just like, ooh, hills have eyes. So, old Baghdad. You want to see real zombies, just go to California. That's always nice. I know people in California, they're not zombies. They're strange, but they're not zombies. The water tanks were plastic, I believe. It flew right over Sky Harbor. Howdy. Howdy. Okay. So, anyhow, getting the Skinwalker Ranch thing, kind of touching upon that. Yeah, I did watch the latest episode. Don't want to spoil for people who do the DVR thing and don't catch up things, because I do that occasionally. But still a pretty damn cool show. I listened to an interview with Travis Taylor where he talked about how they have a lot of communication with former people from NIDS and the Bigelow space program on what happened there. They were more in an observational situation than scientific testing. What they're doing now is far kind of different and more interactive on the property than anything that had ever been done before. And again, the reason I like the show is if you ever read the books and read about all the prior history, they kind of dismiss all that stuff and just put it aside and then just base it on what's happening, what they're encountering, what's going on there now, not based on a lot of hearsay and stuff from the Sherman family and stuff. Because if you read the Sherman family accounts and some of that stuff, it just makes you go like, oh, okay, man, this is, and that's what gets your interest. But even the stuff that's happening now is very, very unusual and stuff. It's just not as big eye-opening as the Sherman stuff about the huge wolf guy. Now, we did the Skinwalker episode, didn't we? Where I talked about Skinwalker Ranch and a lot of the issues with that stuff. It flew right over there. Any thoughts on Doc Thorne Mine, Wayne? I know the big thing out about Doc Thorne Mine is that they believe it could have been in New Mexico. Doc Thorne never was in Arizona. You were there when Thomas talked about it, right? Thomas Glover? I'm pretty sure he did a thing on it. I think he covers it in his book a bit, but he talked about the Doc Thorne Mine and stuff. I'm pretty sure it was at the Rendezvous he talked about it. And a lot of people now within the communities. That's one of the problems when it comes to the museum in a lot of places, and I don't mean to be critical, but you get the people in that research and study this stuff, is that you'll find you hear a story or read it in one book, and every book will have a slight variation. Then you'll find the research and a lot of stuff to do with certain particular things is way beyond where you think it is. It's sometimes like information or misinformation on Jacob Waltz has already been researched, cleared, and done. I know Tom Collenborn and Bob Corbin, at one time I talked to Tom about it. There were these letters from Jacob Waltz to a cousin or someone in New Jersey or New York, and they were able to, put the kibosh on that they weren't authentic. They were able to deal with a number of different things, and sometimes those things will trickle up where people go, well, I've heard about do you know anything about the Jacob Waltz letters? Well, I know that there was someone that purported that they had some and all this stuff, and then they were basically found to be fake, and all that stuff went away. And that's usually what needs to happen. It's more than calling someone out, where today you'd have to call someone out because distribution of that stuff is so much different. Now you can, through social media and stuff, you could have people that are listening to you could distribute the lie so much easier and quicker. Where back in the day, someone could talk about it. It could maybe get in a book, 1 out of 5 or 10, and start to get itself a foothold, and then you could kind of go out and talk to everybody and get it dismissed. And I don't think the letters thing ever really made it to a book. I know they talked to some family members, and they found someone who was the family descendants of Jacob Waltz who know nothing, have no other really information. I don't know how they were able to do it, but Tom said they did make contact with the descendants of Jacob Waltz. They have no interest. They have no idea. They didn't have anything in the family concerning relating to him, but they were able to work that out. And Tom said it was just best not to even go into it, because just to leave those poor people alone, because of all the people would show up and try to come up with stuff. It was his sister, and he was related, and he had sent letters to her. Julia Thomas, in fact, had mailed her about Waltz passing away. But they had no interest, and they had, especially today, they have no knowledge of, unless they've read a book or any interest in it, they don't know anything about Jacob Waltz. There was nothing the family carried on or anything. Any thoughts on the Doc? Oh yeah, we did the Doc Thorne. So Doc Thorne Mine, I believe, was a whole New Mexico thing, and they kind of ran into, I think, and I know Shoes kind of works on it. But there was a lot of people that talked to me about the Doc Thorne thing. I have to put something about that together and all, because that was that they basically said the research and papers and documents they had everything concerning that taking place in New Mexico and not actually in any way. And then somehow it got removed and came over and became a story in Arizona, and it had nothing to do with Arizona. And I thought that was Thomas Glover that did that talk. Probably was. And it might be in his book, so I'll have to look at that later, and the next time have that kind of back in my craw of what to do. Sorry I can't kind of throw that out, because I want to say I know there was not controversy, but a lot of clearing up on that on research. And it might be in his book, Twice Told Tales, but I'm not going to sit here and bore you by telling Trevor, give me the book, and I'm going to look through it and sit here and read the book for a while you guys are watching me. But I was pretty sure that was Glover kind of covered that. And he's not the only person. There was a number of different people that covered that. And that happens a lot, I mean, for a lot of people. No, that's awesome. Thanks, Wayne. But it research kind of comes and goes and moves, and it moves things forward, and those needles move, and they're always moving, and there's always things happening, and it always takes time for everyone to catch up, because there's a lot of people that are stubborn. I mean, they do not want to believe, or they do not want to hear of, I've based my entire life and all my stuff on this, and they get kind of pretty disappointed. And I think they just kind of resist and just refuse to believe what's there, because it's like, well, it goes completely against what they thought everything should have been. So about skinwalkers, we're back to sky. I had a coworker that had a plow truck who stopped to take a 30-minute nap, and when he woke up, he saw footprints around that truck, and no tire tracks around it. Was it footprints of a person or footprints of an animal? And I guess it was 3 a.m. when it happened. Was it footprints of an animal or a person? You said foot. Oh, did you say footprints, or did you say prints? Hold it. Footprints. So it had to be people footprints. Was it bare feet like footprints? Because that's one badass dude, man. If they're out there in the middle of the night doing that, walking around bare feet.
We found those.
We found the bare feet out in the middle of the desert, and I go to the. Well, no, actually, I do now put slip shoes on when I go out in the middle of the night. I used to walk out in my bare feet. I kind of ended that the time I walked on a rattlesnake in my bare feet. Surprised me, surprised the snake more. Look at it and see your bare foot right down in the middle of a coiled rattlesnake. Snake was freaking. Tracks went in the trees, and I guess it was 3 a.m. when it happened. Where was this? Was it in the Mogollon Rim country? Was it in Arizona, New Mexico, Utah? Yeah, I've never really caught much of that. Most of the people that I know that kind of in that folklore don't want to talk about it. And Leonard, I was very surprised when Leonard and I were riding together, and he didn't touch upon, because they're very, very people are Navajo, especially the Navajos, can be very touchy, because if they believe in the witchcraft and the skinwalkers and the shapeshifters, because they believe almost if you talk about it, it draws it near to you. And so he did touch upon that when we talked a bit. We were going to lunch, but he was more into the Bigfoot, because he communicates with Bigfoot and all that stuff. So he talked about that a lot more. But he did kind of touch upon, and it surprised me, because usually, even someone younger, they're usually kind of can get uncomfortable, because they've been kind of like, I don't want to use the wrong terms and make it sound like, they're silly. But it's ingrained in them mentally and emotionally. So they can say, well, I don't really believe that stuff, but I'm not going to talk about it because... but someone who's older, and Leonard is older, he has to be in his 70s, maybe in his 80s at this point, but someone that age usually that has the stories of that, usually they won't talk about it. It's very unusual, and we talked about it for a while, but he was really into Bigfoot and wanted me to come up, and I know I've seen him on a couple Bigfoot shows. So northeast part of Arizona, yeah, probably up near Four Corners, so either Payson, Winslow, up in that area. There was snow on the ground. See, You get cold feet that way. It would be nice to meet to see the Lost Dutchman's Park new discovery mine. That one, Dutchman's Park road leads to. What is that? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, hey, Brian. Yeah, Brian, that was a strange thing. I know you put in a message. Can't remember what site it was. Everybody always remember Legend of the Superstition Mountain, then there's something about something else, Superstition Mountains, and then there's one Legends of the Superstition. The Legend of the Superstition Mountain, the one that has a little history channel page thing up into it, and if you go through the photographs and you go way back, that one's the official page. Then there's 2 fan pages, which we have administrative rights to, and we usually go in and we will answer questions and stuff too. We did not form those or build those at all. They're smaller and they're pretty popular, and we share this information to all those sites on Facebook. They all have their message box, and in Brian's case, someone had answered him, thanks for this, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know who it was, because I usually go in and just kind of straight up try to once in a while go in there and answer the messages and stuff, and I saw there was some sort of auto message response, which it wasn't you, because you don't have administrative rights to that page. So, and usually what happens on those fan pages is the administrators, those people always ask us, and maybe it's Dalil, or maybe it's the actual administrators that are still around, but they'll usually ask us, hey, can we give you administrator rights so you could go in, and if there's messages directly to you, can you do that? And yeah, we usually do so, and I do it mainly so I can upload this stuff, so people that follow on these various pages. So, the one Legends page is us. It has 10,000 or so people in it, and a lot of followers and stuff. And the others are smaller, but it's still, I try to mirror a lot of the information. Plus, the Dutch Hunter Rendezvous page on social media, I do the same for that. I always make sure the stuff's shared to that, and so forth. So, any good spots in Four Peaks? Four Peaks, there's a lot of good spots. The best spots are around the amethyst mines, but there's a lot of private property, a lot of no trespassing, and you can get shot if you go in there. So you have to be very tricky. So that's what I'll say it as. You could get yourself in trouble, you could get arrested, but there are a lot of mining companies that have claims in there. They do not like people in there and around there. Not to say people don't go in, because people like to find amethyst and stuff like that. I would not recommend it, not this time of year, definitely. But there's a lot of good stuff back in there. A lot of good, especially the amethyst. And there's some gold back in there, and there's a few good gold stories of some stuff back up in there on the southern end of Four Peaks. But the primary thing people go back in there is because of all the amethyst mines and finding pieces of amethyst and stuff. And the companies that are back in there for the mineral rights and stuff usually are pretty strict about people coming in and all. I don't know if they are anymore, how active it is. I know I went back there once. It was a very strange spot, and I found they'd put up chain link fence kind of area, and it was up, and it was really kind of strange because they had some equipment and stuff back in there. It was kind of a large area, a couple hundred feet by a couple hundred feet, and it was all gated in and stuff, but it was deserted. And I drove down and parked, and I wasn't trying to mess with anything. I just kind of went down. I thought, this is kind of cool. And I was kind of more curious, what are they working on? And then I saw the no trespassing signs and stuff. Didn't think much of it. Looked around a bit, and then just decided, well, I'm going to get out of here. And there must have been something somewhere, because the next thing I know was a vehicle that had some sort of security signage pulled up, and they wanted to speak to me. And I said, yes, what would you like? And then I asked them if they had candy bars and stuff. I actually did joke with them and asked them if they were bringing me food or anything. And they weren't really humored, but they thought I was up to no good. But I assured them I was just out checking things out. And as soon as I got out and kind of saw what was going on and all, I didn't touch anything. And I just turned around and came back out. The only thing that spooks me of that is kind of like when you do something like that, and in that case when you're alone, because it can get a spooky moment when a couple guys in a pickup truck who kind of are the hopped up security guards in the middle of nowhere, and you're thinking, oh, okay, we're getting deliverance now. And you have those instances where you kind of go, and you don't think about your smart mouth, and you say things, and they're not looking amused, and then you're thinking, shit, maybe I should just get in the truck and leave. And, they're sitting there the whole time with their hand on their gun. It's like, okay. They also always seem to be about 6'3", 6'4", and they weigh like 350 to 400 pounds. So they look like former professional wrestlers that probably didn't make it, and then they gave them security outfits and guns and told them, come out here and sit in the desert. That's probably why they're pissed off. And I always run into those guys, and not being myself 6'4" and 300 pounds, I'm rather small to that individual, and I kind of feel like, oh. Anyhow, that being that. But yeah, Four Peaks, some good spots out there. I will try to pull together a few Four Peaks stories and some stuff, but I don't like to do that kind of stuff that could get someone in trouble. I do probably enough to get people in trouble in the wilderness area. But yeah, I hate to kind of move myself into that territory where I'm directing people into areas where they shouldn't be, or they're going to do some activity that they shouldn't. And that's why I don't relate certain stories, because I don't want to draw attention to that. I'm not supportive of illegal activities, but I'm also going to say some guy thinks he found something. He tried to clear out an old hole somewhere. It's interesting. I've seen it many times, and I don't want to rat the people out because they weren't really harming anything more than what goes on anyways. I mean, it's not like Consolidated Copper is not going to rip things apart and destroy things and pollute waters. They're going to do far more damage than that guy clearing out a rat hole in the middle of the mountains. But hey, who am I to say one or the other? But yes, I always try to watch that stuff. I don't want to put someone in there and then the next thing I see is Channel 3 News says so-and-so's arrested. And Wayne Tuttle, former star of Legend of the Superstition Mountains, directed him in there. And now they're asking me questions like, why would you send that guy back in there? Supply. How's your water supply? My water supply is good. I live with a really excellent well. No arsenic. It is the only West Valley well that I know of that has 0% arsenic. There is 0 arsenic. I get the water reports and look at it. It's very, very cool. In fact, we have 2 wells. I don't know if the second well, which is a backup well, what its water report is. I've never picked it up. I'll have to look at it. But yes, the main well has 0 arsenic. So we still run off that. Shame for everybody else that runs off city water supply, but we still run off the main well here, and it's doing quite well. And the 0 arsenic is a very unusual thing here in the Southwest. It doesn't have to be treated for that and all that. Okay, so how's your water supply? No, just trail riding. No, just trail riding. I don't know what that meant. No, just trail riding. Right now, there's no trail riding. It's bad for the horses. Horses are like dogs. You shouldn't be walking your dog on the hot cement. Shouldn't be taking your horse out in the hot weather either. It's way too hot for them. One of the problems with guys that go missing during the summer times, because definitely during the cooler climes, searches are much easier with horses. I'm covering a lot of ground, and of course the elevated position and so forth, but during the summers, it's really difficult because you can't stress the horses like that. It's really unhealthy and bad for them. So you still live in Arizona. So what town is near you? I'm near Sedona, but thankfully don't live there. You're near, okay, so you're by Cottonwood or somewhere up there maybe. Okay. Yeah, I'm down in Metro Phoenix, down closer to the Superstitions than you are. Yeah, and I don't blame you for not wanting to live in Sedona. Those people are strange. We got something we want to film and work out there, Trevor. Remember, we got something out that way, and it kind of goes with. Remember the days? There was the days in the '70s when you go into Sedona, it was Slide Rock, and it was drinking beer, smoking pot, and it was just hang out and all this stuff. And then sometime in the '80s, things happened, and suddenly it became the UFO hubbub, New Age hubbub of frickin' America. There was a time Sedona was not what Sedona is today. And it's really strange because if you grew up and used to run up there, it was nothing like it is now. Now it's all this weird crystals and that, and there's a reason for that. And we might do something about that and explain that. But hey, you know what? Anything to make a buck. Can't blame people for that. But Sedona's, yeah, it's really nice. But yeah, it's just the real estate, everything. It's just crazy up there. Can't go do the things you used to do up there. Almost missed the live. I hope anyone is asking legend questions. They are some kinda, whatever. What do you think about the Dutchman's claims up by Crown King? Well, there's lost Dutchman claims everywhere. So, you're talking about the ones up, not by Crown King. Are you talking about the guys, the Lost Dutchman Club thing that's up by Yarnell? That's not by Crown King, though. So, and I'm trying to think of the name of the town there. I can't remember it offhand. But, well, it's not really a town. It was a town and all. But you got the claims there. There's Lost Dutchman mines everywhere you go. Someone would call it the Lost Dutchman. You're talking, and you could be talking about, you got the Billy Bueno and a bunch of mines that people attributed to Waltz that are up by Crown King. Maybe you're talking about those. Because there was a bunch of guys that were into the Billy Bueno and saying, hey, it was a Lost Dutchman. Which, that happens a lot. The old guys do that a lot. It's funny. They'll go, oh, it's Billy Bueno. And then for about 5 years, it's the Billy Bueno. And they take pictures and they prove it. And then they go, hey, it's this. And it changes again. I know there's a Lost Dutchman. Waltz had his mining claims up there, the Grant and the Big Rebel. So, and there's a lot of mining claims up in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone in one time or another, if someone, it would be suspicious if someone in 1885 had the Lost Dutchman there before anybody knew there was a Lost Dutchman. That would be funny. That'd be a story. The Lost Dutchman by Crown King. I'm thinking Waltz had a claim. Waltz had 2 claims. Well, he actually had 3. He had, I'm trying to remember the first one. God, some days, Hi, Wayne. Love your music. Thank you. That always makes me smile and happy. I'm not doing music right now, but we should be working on music this weekend. I just got to get my stupid console working and stuff. There's a lot of stuff sitting there. Remind me, because we got to bounce all those audio tracks out so I can clear up my console and my files. Anyhow, what I was saying, there was the Big Rebel and the General Grant, which were Waltz's, and I think one of those they know kind of where it was, the other one they're kind of iffy, and then the Gross Load was the other one. And speaking of Thomas Glover, earlier he did a great talk on that, of the shares and how the Gross Load and how that all worked out. Didn't work out for Waltz and William Gross and everybody involved in that, but he did a great job of explaining that, how that was divided, how Waltz had a great share in it, and how they all got screwed out of everything, and why Waltz wouldn't have claimed the Lost Dutchman later after he came south, because he would have learned his lesson of probably getting screwed out of these things each time he filed claims. Which is, he did file claims, which makes you go, okay, he didn't file the Dutchman. And I think that was purely just to keep it quiet, because he just didn't want to get anybody up in there and some problems caught up and all that stuff. All right, that kind of covered that probably, I think, right. It is 89 is a joke through Sedona. Now it takes about 30 minutes. It's too much traffic. Hi, I love you. Okay, fascinating. Yeah, Sedona, man. We've ripped through there a few times. Well, of course, the kids being at NAU, so that's my kind of side route coming down. A little bit of a longer route, but I do it if I know the traffic's not going to be too bad on the route, just to go through, and especially in the fall, if you get to see the leaves changing color and stuff, and you can get a day that's not bad traffic. But yeah, I drive through and think, God, my God, the cars on the side of the road and the people frickin' use it. I'm like, man, it was nothing like that. We used to just drive down, be able to park, go down to Slide Rock, drink beer, do whatever. And yeah, now it's just like a total weird thing. And then you get into Sedona, and that's like frickin' parking at Disneyland and going into the park. I mean, it's like, what the hell's going on here? But there is some cool places and some cool stuff down there. Yeah, we hit a lot of the shops and bookstores and stuff. There's a very cool bookstore going out when you're heading back towards, not Cottonwood, but heading towards the Munns Parkway, going east, out of town, and all that. So there's some cool stories about some stuff down there, but I'm not usually that kind of hokey thing like that. Kind of some of their spinning around that kind of goes on, because again, it's really weird to me, because I remember in the 70s and the early 80s, none of that was like that, and then suddenly everything bloomed up. And I know one of the guys out there is a big deal is Tom Doggo, but I think his name is Doggo. Could be Dojo or something. Who knows what he calls himself. But anyway, he all likes to make his living off talking and writing books and stuff about UFOs. And that became a big deal down there. But sometime in the 80s, there was a big UFO thing, and they all got down there, and then suddenly there was portals and all this shit. I can tell you the honest truth, when I was in high school and stuff, we didn't hear anything about portals or anything like this, or teleportation or anything, or wormholes or nothing crap. It was just a cool place to go drink beer and go around and hang out and go hiking, and none of that other stuff, you know. We didn't think anything was sandstone. I don't know. So that goes to show you how things can evolve so quickly and all stuff like that. It's better than the 17. Jerome is starting to turn into Sedona slowly. Yeah, I haven't been through Jerome for a very long time. I will avoid that and going through Clarksdale and all that stuff. But yes, I will occasionally make the swing down through Sedona. They definitely, if you want to start, you know, but it gets so crowded there you can't pull over, find a parking spot. I spend more time putting money in parking meters in Sedona than I do in Phoenix. Yeah, Sedona's kind of like, if you ever want to see the word tourist trap, or the word how many roundabouts per square inch can you put in a city, that's Sedona, man. It's like roundabout, roundabout, roundabout. Go to that 10th roundabout and continue forward. Yeah. So, and, but yeah, Sedona has its thing. I know there's a lot of people like to go up there and get a place to stay and stay up there and stuff, and there's that whole atmosphere of what they're looking for. So, how's Frank and Woody? Woody should be fine. I didn't hear anything other to the contrary this morning from Mike, how Woody's doing. Woody must be doing all right. Hopefully he's getting stronger. Frank's doing well. He's doing his walks and stuff. We talk usually a couple times a week, usually Monday or Tuesday, and then usually towards the end of the week. So we catch up and stuff and see what's going on. So he's doing walking and talking and doing his thing. One of the problems is my AC is basically out of my truck, so we're not doing anything together right now because I'm not going to put him in my truck with no AC. I'm driving and I'll do stuff, but I'm not going to make him suffer through that right now. So because of the shortage of this and that and everything else, it's taking forever to get my truck in. So I'm driving it. It's hot, but I'm not going to make Frank suffer for it. I actually like Frank enough not to make him ride in the truck. If I didn't like Frank, I'd make him get in the truck. So they're both doing fine though. Bummer on the AC. Yeah, it's summertime. Tell me about it when I drive home. But it's tolerable. I didn't use air conditioning in Arizona till sometime around 98, 99 when I picked up my Bronco. It was one of the last generation Broncos. I think it was a 95 Eddie Bauer. And it was lifted and it had mud tires and all, but it had an AC and I started using it. And the only reason I really used it, and at first I didn't still use it, it's a crazy thing. I have air conditioning and I never turned it on. But I had children. And because I would have a child in the vehicle, Trevor would be that child. But because Trevor was in the vehicle, I would turn on the AC so he'd have air conditioning. And that was the rhyme and reason behind it. And of course, it didn't work well for anybody in the back seat because it was just the front AC. But I had that, and that was the first vehicle that I really ever used AC. I used to pull it out of vehicles because now the Bronco I had before that, I had the straight six with the granny gear. I had an 81 Bronco, and that was a great beater, and that was a great truck with a straight inline six. But the problem with that was when you ran the AC, it really didn't do much. It just blew air and it spit water out the vents. So it was like a swamp cooler inside the truck. So I never kept anything cool. The radio didn't work. I think one of the windows was busted out. But it was a good truck. It was a really good truck. But just nothing worked in it. But the reason and purpose for having it was just four-wheel in desert, and you didn't have to worry about it. In fact, it was a truck you bring it home, you hose it down, and then you just ran the hose on the inside because it didn't even have carpet or anything. It was just the plastic mats and stuff. So if it was on the incline, you just hosed it out, let it run out, leave the doors open and all. So that was a fun truck. But then got a nicer Bronco, really nice Bronco, and drove that for years. That was just, and then got rid of that and moved on into the pickup trucks that I've had since then. I still miss the Bronco though. Still, do you still talk to Deal? I haven't talked to Deal for a little while. When it's 120 with no AC, thanks. You buy a cold drink. Keep the windows down. I haven't talked to Deal for a little while. I got an idea, and I'm going to run by Trevor. Maybe possibly find some way to do this, like in a Zoom type thing situation, and maybe we could just record it. Where me, DeLeo, Magnus, and Frank and Woody get on together, and we're all on camera, and we can answer some questions. Maybe I'll ask questions that you normally ask, and we could do a couple things. That would be the first time all 5 of us have actually interacted at one time, other than a text message. Might try to do something like that because people might find that interesting. But I talk to Frank the most, and then probably Deal and Woody off and on here and there. And then Magnuson. Magnuson will pop in, we'll text back and forth. I'll kind of hear a little from him, then he disappears again. I guess everything's going well for him and stuff, but then he'll just be like, hey, talk to you later, brother, because I think he's Hulk Hogan or something, and then he disappears. So yeah, but I still talk to Delil, man. I call him Eric. I used to ride my bike in this stuff when I was a kid. Papa going, we used to walk around barefoot in this stuff. Nobody ever heard of flip-flops, but everybody had grass yards, so you'd get across the concrete quick and get there. We used to lay in the street on the asphalt, see who could lay there the longest and run back. Yeah, we were freaking idiots. But we lived, and there wasn't sprinklers in the ground. It was like everybody had that sprinkler that went, we had that sprinkler. So everybody waited till someone was watering their yard, and then we'd run through the sprinkler a bunch of times in their yard, and then we'd go lay down in the shade under a tree somewhere, and then we drank from hoses from front of people's houses. So whoever had the most shade, that's where you wanted to drink, because if it was shady, the water in the pipes would be really cold. That was just growing up as a kid. Yeah, I don't think we were allowed to be in the house. We didn't watch TV much. We were pretty much stuck outside the whole summer. So we did ride bikes, and we did that. And then I remember we played stickball at night in the streets down there, and that was interesting too. But yeah, I don't know. And it didn't seem to bother us. We used to run around all night and that stuff at 90, 95 degrees, even though it was a little cooler at night back in those days with less, because 43rd Avenue was almost, and Glendale was very small, but 43rd Avenue, 51st Avenue was just about the end of the world, and pretty much around Thunderbird Greenway was almost the end of the world. And nowadays that builds out, so everything's built out. There's so much more concrete and stuff. It's a lot hotter. But I remember as a kid, it was just crazy, We just were out playing in it all the time. Probably stunk. I can't believe how bad we probably stunk all the time, too. And we wouldn't want to take baths or anything. Nobody had a pool. Pools came, we got older before we got pools, and then everybody went to that pool, whoever had a pool. And they didn't want us in the pool because we were all stinky and nasty and dirty and stuff. But, yeah, I don't remember when we got the pool. But I remember as kids, man, we were always running around in the dirt and the heat. Used to ride my bike. Okay, Wayne has no AC, and he still isn't late for the live. What work ethic. Well, hey, I'm not late for the live. There's AC in here. Growing up, it was better find something to do, or I'm going to give you something to do. Cool. Are you still hiking with your son? No, I'm not hiking with my son right now because it's freaking hot. Want to go hiking? He doesn't want to go hiking. So I'd be more than happy to go hiking. Let's hike into the kitchen and get something to eat. Yeah. No, kind of taking it easy and kind of watching out with the weather and stuff this year. In fact, I know there was some people just rescued off of Camelback Mountain. I don't know if you heard about that. They went out. They're a religious group. They do some sort of YouTubers Christian video thing about Jesus or something. But they were out there. And they went up, and a whole group of them, they weren't paying attention and left half the group up there. The first part of the group got down and then realized the rest of the group wasn't with them anymore, and they were stranded, dehydrated, and people were having heat exhaustion. And then they had a chopper, at least 5 or 6 out. It's not funny, but it is kind of funny. But yeah, and then they got them out and all. It was a bunch of women and all, but they said there was a film crew, but it turns out more of a YouTuber sounds like kind of thing or church thing than an actual network film crew. And they didn't really describe other than they're just a group and they go out and do things. And I thought, okay, so you go out and get stranded in hot desert mountains. And then they made this big deal like the trail on Camelback Mountain they took was one of the hardest trails in Arizona. You've not spent much time in Arizona. Okay, send them up cardiac. That would be fun. Yeah, but so, no, I do like to get out and hike when I can, but yeah, this is kind of the off time. Might try to get, just telling to stay out of the heat. Yeah, or get in the pool. But, Yeah, I used to do a lot more, and this year my heat tolerance is, last year it wasn't too bad, but the year before I kind of pushed it too much. It's really weird because you can tell when your heat tolerance comes and goes, and I don't know. I've asked a few people, did it come on weird this year and you didn't adjust? And a lot of people said, yeah, it's hard adjusting. Now, if I was still out framing and working out in it every single day, I probably would have noticed because I would just be basically insane from being out there all the time. But now that I don't, and I use air conditioning and stuff in vehicles most usually, but because of that, yeah, that changes everything. So because of that, yeah, I think I don't get kind of adjusted as much, so which is kind of unfortunate. But again, there's, why do I have to stay out in the heat and just stand there and become burnt brown and everything else? Even though I do notice this, how much darker my skin tone is if we film outside compared to inside. So I'd hate to bring someone in that is very, very light, pale skin on camera inside. Because I could imagine those guys turn into like white ghosts. Because I'll look at myself and go, where'd all my color go? It's like, freaking A. And then I'll see me outside and I'm like, oh. Because, you always want to see, go look at old pictures of me standing in a group. My kids used to always make fun of me, basically saying, where's our dad is? He's the brown one. But in this stuff, like, I'll look at it and I look pale. It's like, wow, where'd all my color go? I don't know how. Okay, well, there's stuff today, but yes, having darker skin, but it's really weird when you do this stuff. It also adds 52 pounds and 25 years. So just take 25 years off me, 52 pounds, and that's exactly what I look like. Okay. Trevor didn't even laugh. He's a bitch. Okay, good luck, bud. Hope you find the treasure. yeah, well, you could laugh at my jokes. What are you doing over there?
Watching.
You're watching? Okay. So you're sitting in a chair off to my right, watching me over here do this. Is there a delay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's even more awkward than this. That makes it even more awkward. Wow, that's so much lighter than what I'm seeing. Background's real bright. Okay. So anyhow, getting back to things and kind of, I'd blind the camera then. People like to say hi, Trevor, a lot. Huh.
All right.
You getting popular? Don't talk to him.
It's my show now.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you do it. I'll let you do this stuff. I'll go lay down somewhere. Freaking talent is always the most abused part of any type of program. Talent gets no love whatsoever. Though, do they? Does talent get any love? No. Who makes all the money? The talent? No. Who makes the money off this crap? Not me, certainly. I get to pay for it. Yeah, that's the only difference between this and working for History Channel. Is a History Channel, I didn't have to pay for the program. Now I get nothing and I get to pay for it. He was Wayne Tuttle one time. Yes, he was one time. He thought he was Wayne Tuttle, but he is Wayne Tuttle, actually, to be honest. You are Wayne Tuttle. That's strange. I never thought about it that way. Yes, Trevor's middle name is Wayne, so he is Wayne Tuttle. But he's not the Wayne Tuttle, and you should never think it. No. The Ohio State? Well, he's the Wayne Tuttle. Anyways, those people are on Camelback Mountain, and I always warn people out there. I never understand people that want to push their limits or do that, and I don't think these people were doing that. But, if you don't feel it, don't do it. So, you should turn on your super chats. What are super chats? Trevor, you should turn on your super chats. What does that mean? Okay, you gotta come on.
I don't know what that means.
None of us have a clue what that means.
I don't know.
People can tip you. Oh, no, I don't need tips. God, no, okay. I get what you're saying, and thank you very much. I am joking on all that. Yeah, by the way, I found the lost Dutch of mine, and I just don't tell anybody about it. Right, Trevor?
Sure.
There you go. Got gold bars piled up under the desk here. That's what I keep my feet on. Okay. Can you tell me about the Dons of Arizona? Okay, beer money. Go into your monetization and turn it on. Dons of Arizona. I'm a member of the Dons Arizona. Dons Arizona basically have the base camp at Peralta Trailhead. Dons Arizona started about 1930-31. They were formed through the YMCA. A gentleman named Art Weber with the YMCA helped do that. He is actually the great uncle of Greg Davis, who was a founder of the Superstition Mountain Museum and is currently also with a former president and a member of the Dons of Arizona. But he organized that to have a number of just different people involved, and each person would have a certain skill set. Say you were an accountant, there would be an accountant. There would be a carpenter, say a trim carpenter. Okay, we'll have the trim carpenter. There was a stonemason. This individual's an attorney. We'll have an attorney. So they wanted specialized skills for the people within the organization and to promote the Southwest in history and do preservation and different things. And it was a very great idea. There was only 50 Dons. The women were the Donias, and you had the 50 Donias with the 50 Dons. It's a little different setup now, but it was set up. There used to be a president of the Donias, too. It used to be a president of the Dons, and then the women's group was run by the president of the Donias. So they can give you donations. Beer money, ammo fund. They got a lot of ammo. Exactly. Lenore. It's a way for people to enjoy your show and give back. Yeah, you want to give back? Just say thumbs up and yay and watch it over and over again. That's fine with me. Anyhow, Don's great organization. They did the trek, which started and still continued up to about 2000, 2001, and then ended. Once it ended, the rendezvous kind of filled that void the next year or so. We were the first rendezvous or two, we kind of got off, and then they realized they had this camp, and the trek had ended, the Forestry Service, and a lot of the problems they were having with the firefall and stuff, and the Renaissance Festival, because the Renaissance Festival put a huge, people would rather see the fake Renaissance Festival than something very cool like Trek. If you saw Trek, you'd be like, that's enormously so much better, but the Renaissance Festival was the new pretty girl on the block, and it hurt. But it was only limited. I think it was only 1,000, 2,000 people. Tickets every year. Very limited thing. A lot of people never got to go see it, and there were buttons for it and stuff. It was very, very cool. And the trek continued all those years up into about 2000, 2001, and then that ended. But I am a member of the Dons. The 100th anniversary is coming up, so we're starting to kind of tune and look at that. Possibilities of what we could do coming towards that. But at the time, basically, Greg Davis and I sat down. We've kind of put our heads together and thought, well, one of the things to help the Dons would be to utilize the camp. Got a bit of a dry throat. And so in doing that, we brought the rendezvous in. So there is the Discovery Camp for Kids, which we did the video on, and they do that process there. There's some other smaller events, but the rendezvous is one of the big things that happens, the Discovery Camp and the rendezvous for the Dons. Trevor, turn on that sugar super chats and super thanks. Yeah, but we're not looking, we've always said we don't make any money off the t-shirts either. We've never looked to kind of like make money off of any of this. It was to inform the public and kind of a thank you back for when we did the TV show and when we do other programming and all, and then keep people updated who are interested in stuff, because that's kind of the cool thing, because I kind of thank people. And then if people are listening to me and listening smart and doing the cool and right thing, it's a very good thing, because we can save possibly lives in the process, and helping people out and educating people in the process too, and directing them the right places and the right things. So that's kind of the end goal for me, a lot of it, and kind of shared in that is a lot of the sort of thing that people like Tom Collenborn and Clay Worst would have done years ago. Tom's obviously no longer with us, and Clay is not getting out and going out and doing, kind of being the ambassador of the Dutchman. And the people that kind of work from that perspective that some people might recognize in some way locally under that auspices, they're not really Dutch hunters, and they really don't have the knowledge or background. So I didn't so much take it on. I just realized, someone's got to be out there doing that stuff. And other people have followed suit, which is good. They've kind of put their 2 cents in and jump in and do some stuff. So that's kind of nice too. But I really wanted to do that purely from the aspect of just giving back and making sure, like, all the knowledge and the stuff and the wonderful things. that someone like Tom did for me, and Clay, and Greg Davis, and Bob Shoes, and Ron Feldman, and all that I've learned over time. You're kind of giving back, and you're helping those guys out, and kind of pushing some, pushing the people their way for, the books and stuff and all that. So, not looking at writing a book and selling a bunch of books, and I'm not looking like if I want to make $1 million, I just get up and work a little more. We'll make another $1 million. So can I borrow some money? No. Okay. Super understanding of you. I try to be cool. Can you do one on Four Peaks area, please? I will pull something together for that. Thanks for doing these streams. They're interesting. I don't mind doing them. It's just I try to go in without any preparation, because if I prepare, it becomes chasing legends live, and that's not fair to you guys, because then I'm ignoring you. Doing live can be frustrating because there's times nobody has anything to say. And then in the old days, I would do 2 hours of stand-up comedy, basically, from my truck, because the original ones I did in my truck. So, and it had AC, so I would sit in my truck, smoke cigarettes, blow the air conditioning, and do 2 hours of stand-up comedy as best I could. Which worked really well. A lot of people watched and thought it was hilarious, and we had a lot of fun. But that was kind of a commitment of doing that every week, kind of a drag. So that's where we're kind of on this. I will not super chat you. Hulk Hogan pulling up as a security guard. It was real. But it does happen. And somebody tell me I'm wrong. It's these guys kind of like, that's how they hire them. Like, okay, you don't need to hire that guy. Funny thing is, if you wanted to get out of that situation, just park down the road and then run, because that guy's never going to catch you. You can tell. They'd give up after about 10 yards, 15 yards. It's hot. Go uphill. That would kill them. So, but anyhow, so we're kind of rolling in. I can't see the time. I do see the time, so it's getting time to kind of start to wrap things up. If there's nothing, why did they choose the name Dons? Dons because of the Spanish word don, which means like gentleman, sir. It's kind of a respectful tone. So it's like Don Ramirez, Don Gonzalez, Don Peralta. So it's meant kind of to be a title name of someone a little significant and respectful. So and Doña is the same thing for a woman. So it's like kind of very similar to Senor. And what's the other one? Hidalgo. The word Hidalgo in Spain is kind of similar. It's another way of saying sir or whatever, kind of recognizing someone and kind of giving them kind of a noble sense and stuff. Kind of all that stuff. So they chose it because of that, because of the Southwest and the Spanish presence in it. It wasn't like the Latino, it was the Spanish presence in through New Mexico into settling the Southwest, which if you watched the videos I did before, that was the predominantly long one. Mexico's ownership of this area, and a lot of the Southwest was very brief. When they got it from the Spanish, happened for a certain period of time, and then they just told the U.S. you can have it. Them Apaches are tough, and so off that had changed. Brian and Bill from Pumpkin Center. It was Brian and Bill from I don't know what I'm missing. Brian and Bill from Pumpkin Center. I guess maybe it's the Hulk Hogan boys. It's time to fire up the barbecue. All the more reason to make Wayne and Trevor hungry. Glad to see this live. Thanks, guys. Yeah, barbecue's always good. Tonight's pizza night here. By Tim. Jack and Coke time now. Jack and Coke. That always goes good with stuff. I strategically and ceremoniously suspect that Sarah Sutton and Sam Selvin selfishly stood sanctimoniously but simultaneously somewhere southeast of the Superstition, September 6, 1967. And you did that just to make me say all that. Fine then. But I did it and I didn't mispronounce a thing. All right. Well, I made it through it and didn't stumble a bit. Yeah, there you go. I can read, I can speak, I can alliterate, I can enunciate. And those were all E words too. So we were doing the S words and then the E words. Okay. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up because, yes, dinner will be coming soon. And it's a Friday night. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll be working on stuff and pulling stuff together for Chasing Legends for Monday. And we'll be trying to get that stuff and rolling stuff out. So please join us there. And as always, you get the chance, go to the About section, pick up the shirts if you want to wear the shirts. Maybe we'll have a contest sometime and give away some other crap. I haven't figured out how to get you guys to be able to send to us and do stuff that we can send stuff to you. We used to do it on the lives on Facebook because Facebook was easier with Messenger and stuff to get stuff in and out. And we did some giveaways, books and different stuff, and shirts and stuff. And now with YouTube, it's a little different. We'd have to get a P.O. box or work something out. But anyways, we'll have to do that and get an email or something specific where we can kind of work that out for everybody. Because that was always cool, giving out stuff and mailing out boxes of stuff and all to people. Frank always said, we should just give away gold. And I said, no. Anyways, thank you, everybody. Everybody, just take care. Have a great weekend. Stay cool if you're out here. If you're anywhere else, just enjoy it. How is Bob Schus? Bob's doing awesome. He had a great Father's Day, and we just talked the other day. What about Pedro Peralta? Yeah, there was a Don Pedro Peralta. There was a Don Juan Peralta. There was a lot of Peraltas. And they would call him Don if they had significant land ownership, because like the gentleman thing. One great speaker way and keep it going, love it. Oh, thank you. But, yeah, so the Peralta thing is kind of that. We'll get into a Peralta thing here sometime soon. I always wanted to get one of the Peraltas. We tried to do with Legends to get one of the Peraltas to come in and talk, and they wouldn't do it. And I wanted to do it to have a Peralta family member talk about, no, it's not the Dutchman stuff and that kind of stuff for Adolph Ruth, but about some of the family history and kind of give that in a little context. And it was really funny how whenever you tried to direct them towards, this would be really cool to have one of these people on in History Channel and A&E, it'd be like, nah, let's do this instead. And they kind of nix that. So, and I know we tried to get one of the Peralta members out to film with and talk. Missed you again. Sorry, Bowman. Pretty sure that's you. But, yeah, you have a lot to do, but you can always watch it. You can always come back and watch it when it uploads and goes up on YouTube. So you can always watch it and catch out where everything is going and everything that's happening and what's, and then comment there after the chats. So anyways, don't send money. If you're going to send money, send lots of money. So I will say that. I mean, I don't need this Patreon, or is it Patreon? Patreon, right? It's Patreon.
What is?
And where people like fucking the money thing. I said the F-bomb. Anyways, don't need that kind of stuff or GoFundMe and stuff. If you're going to send money, be the person that can send a lot of money. Now, if you can send a lot of money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'll take that. So we'll work that out. That's always good. Happy 4th. Will we be... Probably won't be doing live till after the 4th, will we? Which in weird and just, I got to get out of here. But yeah, the Surprise Arizona is doing the 4th of July on Saturday the 2nd. Yeah, so the Happy 4th would be a Chasing Legends. Not this one, but the next one.
It'll be the next Chasing
Yeah, but yeah, they're doing it on the 4th. So we're having our 4th of July celebration on Saturday, July 2nd. That's not the 4th of July then. I have those problems. See, that stuff always gets under my skin and makes me mad. And I don't understand it. It seems like such a trivial thing, but it's so stupid. I mean, okay, so I don't get it. And then City of Phoenix, I think, canceled theirs. So I don't know what's going on with that. Anyways, that being all done, I hope everybody had a wonderful day, ended up a week safely, and is happy, healthy, and fine. And it's kind of weird because I don't know how well the mic works if I'm talking this way or if I get over here, if it makes a difference. Maybe I need to be more into the microphone. I don't know. Anyways, I have not missed a show yet. Well, there you go. Well, I'm sorry if you missed a live, but there's a lot of lives early on you probably missed when you didn't realize we did live on Facebook, dude. So we're all good. So you can always catch them up because that's what the whole purpose is. So you can. That was the reason we went to YouTube, was so everybody could always catch them if they couldn't be there. Mike sounds great. Yeah, Trevor did a great job. I did a great job buying all the crap, and Trevor did a great job plugging it in. What, you like that? Anyway, Actually, July 2nd is the day that should be celebrated. And even if it is, just make it July the 2nd or just call it Independence Day and say we're going to celebrate the holiday the Saturday of the first weekend in July on the first Saturday. And we're going to refer to it as Independence Day. We do that with other holidays. But I think we still need to make a holiday of a day that has no significance religiously or to anything or anything celebrating or anything. It should just be the day people just take off, and it should be 3 different days a year. So, because we can't have everybody not do stuff the same day, right? There's nurses, doctors, firefighters, but there should be 3 days a year where you can pick which day you want, and everybody can have that one day. That absolutely, it's a 3-day weekend for no apparent reason other than just having the day off. Yes, I know someone's going to say that's called vacation. I still think they should pay us for that day. Okay, so there we go, and we're all wrapped up, and I'm going to get out of here because I think we still have to order the pizza. That sucks. Now I got to wait. And there's all that barbecue stuff and all that stuff. But pizza with pepperoni, sausage, mushrooms, onions. I forgot to mention onions. Onions are very important on any staple of food when it comes to me. I am a big person on onions. There's a table, and everyone sits at it, and there's a bowl of onions by me. That and barbecue sauce, you got to admit it. It's always barbecue sauce and onions down on my end of the table. Frank's salt. Frank loves to put a ton of salt on everything. I like onions. So, anyways, that being said and done, then someone has to say something. How can I make it to the Superstitions with gas price so high? That is a problem. Yes. I would say it's going to be very difficult right now. Well, it depends where you're at, too. Because if you live, like, in Apache Junction, you could ride a bike. But, yeah, with the distance right now and everything, I don't know why I'm hearing noises out front. But, yeah, with gas prices now and all, I think that's going to... I don't even want to get into the context of, like... economically, because all I know is that there's a tampon shortage, and then the other day at work nobody could find coffee cups. 3,500 people work for this company. We have this huge facility. No one could find a styrofoam coffee cup, and I went to the mailroom and said, why haven't we ordered any and dispersed them through the company? And I was told there's a shortage of styrofoam coffee cups. So I was like, okay, so there's a shortage of tampons and gas prices through the roof, and now we can't get coffee cups. I was like, this seems absolutely ridiculous at this point. So, yes, you start messing with a man's coffee, then he starts being aware. It's like, oh, yeah, it cost me 3 times as much to fill up my gas tank, but now I can't find a cup for my coffee. So, yes, that was strange. So, and we should never get me started on that stuff, Trevor, should we? No, because I get into the bizarre on that because I do not understand how we can't have styrofoam coffee cups. That just seems like something we should have. And then the restaurant sent cups over for the drinks when we had the lunch at the meeting at work, and you put a liquid in them, and I told someone use that for coffee, and then I told them you can't, because if you put a liquid in them, the cup became like, it felt like it was just starting to fall apart. Like it's like them paper straws. Everything starts getting real soft and weird. And I was like, oh my God, the cup's only allowed to last, like small cup is only one drink. And then once you drink that one drink, you can't refill it. The cup's useless. That was the most ridiculous thing I ever thought. I was like, oh my God, this cup, if I squeeze it, you pick up the cup and you realize, oh crap, I got to finish drinking it because it's going to fall apart. So anyways, I'm going to leave that alone and get out of there. Favorite barbecue sauce? I like Memphis. But I like Kansas City. But I like any kind of barbecue sauce. I liked the, what was it? Bill Johnson's Big Apple mesquite flavored barbecue sauce too. I like barbecue sauce pretty much, don't I? Yeah, so I like any type of barbecue sauce, and I like it, put it on anything. I'll put barbecue sauce on corn on the cob, and I put it on mashed potatoes because it's good on mashed potatoes. So here we are. We're getting out there, and we're starting to go. So you can make it to the Superstitions. I would say it's really tough, and I'm sorry about that. And your name's Goldfinger, so you would think you could chop off that finger and sell it. Gold prices are up high. There you go. But not to make light of it, but yeah, the gas prices are ridiculously high and stupid right now. I'm feeling it, and it is pinching hard for someone that drives into work every day. So, but everybody, okay, I am promising I'm getting out of here. I'm out of here. I'm off of here. I'm done. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for everybody who joined us. Thank you for all the views. 210 views already, man. That was kind of cool, just knocking out the first hour. Thank you to Trevor. putting this together and making sure I get in here and everything came up and everything looked good. I'm sure it sounds well. Can't screw up the audio. You got the title right. I can't think of what you're going to screw up next. It's funny to watch myself laugh long after I laugh. I'm getting ready to laugh. There I go. Okay. That delay is just wicked on me. All right. Thank you, everybody. And always remember, until the next time we see you Monday for Chasing Legends, tune in to us they come down at 4 o'clock Arizona time? Yes. But until then, remember, I'm Wayne Tuttle. You're not. And this was just a special edition of Legend of the Superstition Mountains. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day. Now I get to go in stream.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
An end.
End. And you can handle